Hey, besties. Welcome back to another episode of the Blondest Podcast.
Welcome back. We're here for a part 2.
And I have mascara. It came.
Yeah, it did come.
Yay.
So what are we talking about today?
Oh, man. Today we're going to talk about what to do once you've built your business, how to scale, and how to expand. So next steps after, let's say you have a successful solo practice, you're by yourself, and things are going good. The time to expand is when you can't take the load of clients that you already have, right?
Yeah.
Like you aren't able to reschedule people with ease. You're booking more than 2 months out. You're having to turn away clients and you're starting to feel overwhelmed. That's when it's time to hire and expand.
And your space can't accommodate
what you need
anymore.
Or you're maxed out with the kind of money you can make. So for me, I wasn't ready to hire anyone, right? To provide services. I needed like an assistant and admin help. But what really made me want to move is because since I am more medical based, I was numbing clients. And I remember sitting there one day and I'm like, this is like 30 minutes. I could be doing something else. Like I could be doing a chemical peel. I could be doing a dermaplane service. I could be doing a lash lift, which is what I was doing those at the time still. I could be doing a brow wax. Like there's so many things I could do while this client is numbing.
Or treatments where it would be left on the skin for an hour, 45 minutes. And you're literally just sitting there.
Babysitting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I need another chair. I need to expand. So that's really why I decided to. It's cold in here.
It's freezing. I have my hands underneath my thighs right now.
Oh my God, I'm so cold.
Oh.
It's so cold. But I'm nipping very hard. Anywho, so that's when I knew it was time to expand into a bigger location. On top of that, I started to bring on retail and I would have to stay. So let's say I finished my last client at 5 o'clock. I was there till 8 just with product pickups. Or it was inconvenient if a client needed to come get something and I had to open the door and give them something during someone's service. It was just impeding on the quality of the service and impeding on being able to give them the products that they need without them going to buy it somewhere that's easier. So I was I need a retail. You keep cutting me off today.
Well, you take a little pause and I try to speak.
Speak, Valentina.
No, it's okay.
No, I want to hear.
No, I've been silenced.
No.
I've been silencing you.
Haven't. No, what were you saying?
I was just going to say and speaking to that, the whole.
What?
It would make your day run so much longer, far behind because of the process of you only have one room to do consultation, check out everything.
Oh yeah. No, I'd have clients be like, oh, my card declined. And then they'd be calling their bank for 30 minutes. And then they'd be I'd have a client outside waiting. And then also too, just people, I wasn't good at standing up for myself. A lot of this is not on them. A lot of it's on me because, they'd be asking me all these questions. And I'm you could have asked me this when I was working on your skin for the past hour. But here we are asking all these questions after the appointment. And I couldn't guide them and walk and talk and be okay, I have to run to my next appointment. Bye. They were just in my room during that whole process. So I'm I just need a checkout area so that I can send them up there and be any other questions you have, my team has got you, XYZ, yada, yada, yada. Because that would honestly tack on 20 to 30 extra minutes. And I could have done 30, 45 minutes in between every client. But then no.
That's just not optimal.
It's stupid. You're going to lose money when you do that. You need to, just be more assertive. And again, I was young and didn't really know what I was doing. So I trial and error. But I would definitely say that was a hard thing about me being in a salon suite was just the product pickup, checkout process, people just hanging around and meandering around and not getting the fuck out of my room. And I'm I literally have someone out there waiting, you gotta go. Or card was decline or rescheduling them oh, that day doesn't work. No, that day doesn't work. And then we're just here for 20 minutes trying to find a fucking day that works for you on top of your card declining and on top of you asking me 12 fucking questions that you could have asked while you were on my table. Yeah. And then I'd run an hour behind and then it was just would keep snowballing and it would just cause a lot of stress for me. So yeah, that was another thing that helped me a ton getting out of my salon suite. And for hiring, I would say, if you're not able to answer phone calls and schedule and do emails and it's impeding on your personal life, it's impeding on your mental health, it's time to hire. If you feel that you could move the needle better in a different aspect of your business. Like, that's how I started to think. Like, there's so much more back end stuff that I should be doing that I don't need to be answering every phone call. I don't need to be scheduling every single client. Like, this is not making me money. This is not worth my time. I'd rather pay somebody to do this for me.
And will hiring that person bring more money in?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like
1,000. If I'm able to take more clients because I'm not having to block out 2 hours to answer emails and text,
yeah,
that's another thing to think about. So, first step for me was hiring and getting someone in to help facilitate that, and then just kind of seeing what was needed. It took a lot of different times and different job titles and descriptions and things that I eliminated that we didn't need and things that we added that we did need. So I think it took some time, since I did this all by myself, to create job titles and what they were each person was going to do in the business. And now we finally have, we always will need, for this space, all of this is going to change when we move, but for this space, I always will need a client coordinator. I'm always going to need a personal assistant. I'm always going to need front desk and 2 of them. And then I'm always going to need someone to help move the needle in the back end of the business, like Tyler. So I know where I need to fill gaps and have everything covered without being overstaffed and not being understaffed. I think there's that sweet spot. And for me, if I can give any hiring advice is if you can afford, let's say you have one person working for you, but you can afford to have one extra to do little things here and there, even if it's part-time, do that, because if you lose that one person and if they're sick, if someone in their family dies and they're gone for a while, or let's say they just up and quit and leave you, or they have to be fired, if it's going to wreck your entire universe and world, it is better off and smarter for you to have 2 people so you can have a backup plan and have someone else to rely on and help train the next person so that you have 2 at all time. I think it's really tricky just trying to have one employee, especially if you're hands off with a lot of that stuff. And if you're at full capacity and they're doing so much for you and they leave you, and then you're left with everything that you do every single day where you're at max capacity and having to pick up slack and stuff that you might not even know what's happening in that aspect of your business because you're trusting this person to take care of it. It's so much easier to just have 2 people. I will always say that. And cross-train. Don't have just one person know how to do this and one person know how to do this, because if that person leaves and the girl that wasn't doing that job doesn't know how to even begin to know or understand how they were operating, you're fucked.
Yeah, say for example, our client coordinator who works with all our chart keeping, Busyacam, stuff like that all day. She doesn't know how to use Shopify or print out orders, and someone
quit or got sick or
gets
left.
pregnant or something, has a baby, what, there's no way she's just gonna know how to use Shopify, all the shipping procedures we do for all of our orders, everyone needs to kind of
But not even
everything.
Quitting or leaving, but sick days.
Yeah.
I have one client coordinator. If she gets sick, then I have Maria who knows how to do everything, or I've trained another girl there that knows how to do it. So, it's not even about worst case scenario, but just people getting sick, being able to fill in when needed. And, I think it takes a special type of person and really employee selection, because small businesses, some days you're going to do your job that you were hired for, and other days you might be helping out your team members and picking up slack, because it's not we have 12,000 people working for a large company and we can they can miss one day. If they're not there, everything slows down. Everything is not the same unless you have someone that's able to help.
Yeah.
And, you kind of have to just, okay, so we lost one of the front desk girls because she's going to be helping client coordinating because our client coordinator's sick. So then my personal assistant, I'll lose her for the day. So I might not get as much content as I need. You have to see what can give. I can't give on I can't give up the client experience or orders going out. Everything with clients and orders goes first. So if I have to lose Maria for helping me with social media for the day, so fucking be it. She's going up front to help with emails, phone calls, and orders. So I think just prioritizing where you need people to be and how they can help in the business is so, so, so important.
Absolutely. And speaking about hiring, one thing we've been talking about recently is that Savanna made some mistakes in the beginning with hiring, and hiring who she felt was the same person.
With.
Yeah, kiki
someone,
with. I could get drinks after with her and we could be best friends, or And she realized that that can create a lot of tension when you are hiring someone who's the exact same person as you. And it's also not beneficial to your business because every person has pros, strengths, and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And when you are hiring someone who's the same person as you, you're not, I mean, unless you need to split yourself in half, like again, like if Savanna needs another, I don't know, it's kind of confusing, but like for Savanna's situation, when you need more admin help, when you are the person providing the services and you're the face of the brand and you're, doing the marketing, you decide all that. But Savanna's strength was never admin. It was never,
Mm-hmm.
any of the technical stuff, shipping out orders, all that stuff. You need people who are different. Like Savannah's not, as we've talked about, she is logical, but she's not like a very methodical person. She's not analytical. Like that's not her jam. Numbers.
I hate numbers.
Yeah, any of that stuff.
Unless they're in my bank account. Oh, I'm just kidding.
But so hiring people who are different from you and who exhibit strengths that you wish you had almost.
Yeah,
like if you were Superman,
it's like like you wouldn't want to date someone that's exactly like you. You want someone that's gonna complete you and like fill the gaps of where you're not perfect.
Yeah, like I don't like cooking, so I would want to date someone who loves to cook.
Yeah,
because like then I can be lazy and get good food all the time and not have to go out to eat for every meal. Or I'm pretty good at cleaning, but I hate doing laundry, and that's how Savanna is. Like,
I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring.
Yeah, so I think that's super important when it comes to
Yes, agreed.
Y'all
When it comes to
me.
hiring people, definitely, I think you really have to prioritize what attributes you're looking for, and it can be very beneficial to hire people different than you that you might not, want to be BFFs with. I mean, I was like a child when I was running a business at 21. Like I, was like, oh, she's cute, she's fun, like she's funny, like I like her, I want to hire her. And that's very immature, but I learned from that. And now I'm way more calculated in how I hire. And I mean, we've had really good retention since I've switched that. Like I was hiring the wrong kind of people in my business and people that just weren't the right fit,
Yeah. And like, they were still great people.
It just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, exactly. And the people, and Savanna said this, we had a team bonding night the other night and we all went out to like this fun little game show thing. I think we talked about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the last episode or 2 episodes ago, one of them. And after we went out for like some drinks and food, because it was way shorter than we were expecting it to be. It was only an hour. And so when we were all at drinks and food, Savanna was like, I just want y'all to know, like, this Savanna Boat Aesthetics would not be Savanna Boat Aesthetics without you.
Like, yes, I'm the brand. Yes, I'm the one that's marketing and doing all these things, but you're the ones facilitating and keeping the machine running properly. And it's so important to have a support team. Like, I am nothing without my team.
Yeah, and especially like from a client experience perspective, Savanna is with them in the treatment room, but
there's so many other aspects of it. Yeah. When they walk in the door, when they leave, like all of that.
When they need to call and reschedule, when they're receiving their orders, how they're packed, how like the care is shown. And it's all representative of Savanna at the end of the day, especially for a business like hers where it's Savanna Boat Aesthetics. It's not, Renewal Skin. I don't know if that's a real place, but oh, really?
I mean, Renewal Skin, come on, babe. That's pretty, like,
well, but I'm sure there's like 500, so that's why I'm like,
I don't know.
Is there one in particular?
I'm sure there's a Renewal, a Rejuvenate, a Revive,
okay. I just made that
Radiant
up.
Skin.
But like, it's not like, for a name like that and a company like that, it's not necessary.
Renewal Skin, he's coming out for you. I'm just kidding.
But I'm saying, like,
I know.
Especially for you, like, they're representing Savanna Boda.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And
it's a lot of pressure, but they do it so beautifully in there.
And Savanna gets so much great feedback about who she's hired.
And we've gone through some like little issues and like figured things out. Like, okay, so for a while when Tyler wasn't with us, Maria, my personal assistant who's been with me for 2.5 years now, she would order all the stock stuff for the products, like everything. Like she just knew how to do it. So she would do all of that for me. But then, we had like a lot of like back end stuff that we started to need from her. And like, I mean, she was the only other person that could help me because everyone else in the business was at max capacity. And so she was being pulled like in 80 different directions. And I'm like, ordering is like the least I need from her, like I feel like we can just pass that on to someone else up front. And we did that. And for a while, our orders were so backed up. And granted, we were getting a lot more orders than we had in the past, but like we were backed up. Like I'm sure any of you listening that are customers of ours were like, why is it taking so long for my products to come? Because, things were coming in late, or like we weren't stocked on certain products, and like we couldn't ship things out because we didn't have the products. And like some of that was fault of the companies that we were buying from, but also was because I changed who was ordering products and she wasn't as comfortable or confident with doing it. In addition to that, like Maria has known me forever. She knows I'm not going to like freak out if she buys like 60 Prelude cleansers.
150.
Yeah, like she knows I'm going to sell them. And I think the other girl that I gave that responsibility to was a little bit more apprehensive. And she was like, I'd rather buy littler. And then like, and I honestly wasn't keeping my eye on this. I like made the switch. And like I in my head was like, not involved in why we were so behind. Like I knew we were behind because we were waiting for shipments to come in, but I never connected the dots until like about a month of it happening. And I'm like, what changed? And after further investigation, it was just that we weren't getting orders out because we weren't getting those shipments on time or ordering as much stock as we need. And it's also really tricky because I'm not like calculated at all with how I post. Because I mean, if I'm not posting on my Instagram, like yes, I think we'd still make some money on our Instagram, like from returning customers and like just people that like follow me and are just like, oh, I want to see what's on our website. But really why people buy products and why we have good e-commerce is because I'm constantly marketing on my stories. And it's very natural and in the moment for me. I'm not like, okay, guys, so next week I'm going to really push this product and next week I'm going to do this product. And so we need to order a bunch of that for that. Like, it's just so natural for me. And so I just post what I post, like I'm not thinking about how much we have in stock or anything like that. But it's easier because Maria works so directly with me that she knows. And then also, on top of that, she's been doing it for 2.5 years. So for me to make that change, and I really was just trying to take stuff off her plate and make it easier for her and also give more responsibility to somebody else in the business that like was actually doing a lot of the shipments. So I thought it'd be easier on her. But I think what it came down to is like she just didn't want to, over order and then me be like upset, because I mean, it is a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress, like to be in charge of placing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 orders of retail. And then if your boss is like, why the fuck did you buy so many? Like, it's not your money to like, and I would never do that. But, she hasn't been with me as long. So I think she was like apprehensive of that. And then also too, like just not accustomed to keeping up with it on top of all the shipments. So was not her fault at all. It was my fault for making that switch. But once we switched it back, like our orders have been going out literally like, wow. And then on top of that too, to also say, like I was out of town for like a week and they were able to catch up because all they had to do was ship, and like everybody was shipping. Like Tyler was shipping, Maria was shipping, everyone was shipping. And so when I brought Tyler on, I switched that back to Maria. I kind of missed that part, but that's what I brought on Tyler. And then I kind of like was able to look at things differently and was like, hey, Maria needs to do this for us. So I think, just reworking and restructuring, everyone has different strengths in the business, and it's okay to like play around with roles to see like who's better at what, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be different in what we're good at. And so there's just different strengths, and it's okay to like give responsibilities and also take responsibilities back. And, sometimes people might be relieved that you took a responsibility from them that they were stressed about or felt a lot of pressure with, or just like weren't executing as well as they thought they could or the way you thought they could. So I think communication and just reworking and restructuring jobs is a big part of a small business, and trying to figure out like what works best for you, and it will change constantly.
I have nothing to add. That was all beautifully said.
Okay.
I just agree. I don't know. I feel like any thought I had while you were saying it, you said everything I was going to say. So,
But yeah, don't you think our orders are going out so fast?
No, yeah. I mean, like, we're basically
like
right
we don't even
now,
have, Josh hasn't worked in a month.
Yeah, we hired.
Poor Josh.
Savannah hired my friend.
My friend.
Okay, yeah.
Your friend first.
Our friend. Because he doesn't work on our off days. Those are his off days. And he's a symphony musician, so he has a lot of free time. Like the way that industry works is they have maybe like 2 or 3 rehearsals a day, or not a day, like 2 or 3 rehearsals in the week, and then they have 3 concerts. So it's like a total of like probably less than 20 hours
Yeah.
of physically being at work. Now, obviously, you have a lot of stuff to do at home, practicing and making reads and stuff, but he had a lot of free time. So he was like, honestly, I can work
He was
once
like,
a week.
yeah, pay off my car.
Yeah, he was like, that's my car payment if I work once a week for a month.
Yeah.
So why would I not do that? Like
And he loves me.
yeah. But we're basically like same day now.
Yeah, no, we're getting things out really fast. And it could change, but right now, like, I mean, we are like on top of our shit.
Yeah, I mean, that product closet is stocked.
Maria's
on
Slay
it.
Queen.
Yeah, so.
And Alyssa and Sierra are just shipping out so fast. They're doing such a good job. I mean, it's been great. Like, we have done a 180. So, like, if you shopped with us in the past and you're like, fuck y'all taking so long, first, like, we are a small business, okay? No. But also we had to figure out how to like make things run a little smoother.
But to be fair, I ordered a new Dyson hairdryer, and they are a huge corporation, and it took me, 3 weeks to get it, or 4 weeks? It wasn't on back order. Like, it just was in processing forever, and it never shipped out. And so, like, I'm sure Dyson is a $1 billion company at this point. Takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get me my package, and like people get upset if they're like at 10 days with us.
Yeah.
And so it's like we have 5 people in the office. That's not Savanna, right? 5. Yeah. 5 people.
And we'll end up with like, how many did we end up with our plan sheet? We had 12. Or was it 14?
I think 14 is like max capacity. Initial staffing will be less than that.
Yeah. So we'll be hiring soon. Yeah. I'm excited, but yeah, I mean, again, like things are going to have to be reworked. Like I know what we need in this space, and it took me, I'm almost at 5 years. So it took me 5 years because I just now this year figured out like the best flow in the office. So it's going to be like a whole new can of worms, like trying to figure that out. And especially I'm not going to hire a consultant or a business mentor because like, why would I hire someone to help me when I could just struggle and suffer and do it myself? And save money. Maybe not. Actually, maybe lose money. But I love doing things myself because if someone told me to do something, I'd be like, no. I'm so stubborn. I'm so headstrong. And I like to do things myself. Like I do not give a fuck about what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
But at least you know that like you did it.
Yeah. I want to try. I'm a trial by fire kind of girl. I've always been this way and I never will not be this way. And you know what? It is what it is, and it's worked. I haven't burnt to a crisp. I've had like little burns here and there, little small wounds, but I'm alive and thriving.
Well, also like so many, I know there are obviously good consulting people out there, but so many of them
for
are
this industry
scammers, like really bad.
I mean, there's estheticians out here that have their books aren't filled and they're trying to give advice to people, you know? Yeah. And I mean, I just see constantly these newer estheticians getting scammed by people that don't know what they're talking about or just regurgitate content that they got from my class. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah. I mean, and
which is fine because it's good info, but it's mine.
But like the fact that like they charge like $15,000 and or more, and these people are like brand new estheticians who like are and like encouraging them to take loans out on this consulting stuff, like let alone starting your business. How much like
you know, those people live in a mansion that's not even decorated because they can't afford it, so they're just trying to act like they're doing better than they are.
Yeah.
And they're scammers. I've talked about this before. Awful humans, actually. And then you tried to use me and be like, we made Savanna to like get clients, and I'm like, no, you fucking didn't. You came and talked to Tyler and Adrielle like twice.
Yeah. And like for free, like we didn't ask you to come, like you just came.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, I wasn't trying to talk about them specifically.
But there's more. Other than them, there's more. I mean, I made a couple comments about some newer mentorship things I've seen that I'm just like, SMH.
So be careful.
This might be mean, but like, I'm gonna say it. Oh my God, they just said 3 days before you come to Anguilla.
I told you, you only had 2 more days after today.
I'm so excited and I just can't hide it no more. Anyways, but what I was going to say is it's always a red flag if somebody claims to have this beautiful, big, thriving business, but they are spending all their time doing mentorships. Low key, guys, like mentorships are like a last ditch save your business because you can't get clients in the treatment room. Or I will say, if you're older and you've built successful business and you're like, I physically have carpal tunnel and I don't want to be in the treatment room anymore, I built the business, I've done the stuff, like you have clout and stuff to prove. And there are some in the industry, like Rhea, Douglas Preston. There's some really good mentors in our industry that like actually have built very good businesses. And now they're like taking a step aside to focus on mentorship. But the ones that are just like a year out of school or like their esthetician business didn't do well, so now they're trying to do like business coaching for estheticians, it's because they're trying to stay in the industry any way they can, and they didn't have a successful business, but now they're going to teach you how to have one. And that's a scam. Like I see that every day where I'm like, they just went solo. They did it for like 3 months, maybe a year, and now all of a sudden they're a business mentor, but they don't take clients anymore. So it's like you didn't even if you did clients for a year, you don't have enough to tell someone how to run a business and get clients. I'm sorry. Like you need to have years of experience to be able to offer a valuable mentorship and actually have a business to show that for, right? And be like, look at what, like, here's the concrete, babe. Like, this is what I did. So just be very careful. There's a lot of, smoke and mirrors, a lot of wolves in sheep clothing in this industry. And it sucks because I just see people get scammed and I just want to be like, don't do it. But I'm like, I'm not going to be a mean girl, but like, do some critical thinking, guys. Like, just make sure all the facts check out before you start paying someone for something that you could have learned on YouTube or a book.
Yeah. Anything else when it came to expansion?
I don't think so. I'm starving.
I think choosing because the bigger you get, the more opportunities I think you'll get.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as we were talking about a couple episodes ago, need to be very careful about who you choose to work with and who you don't choose to work with. Mm-hmm. Because there are so many, obviously any industry is about making money at the end of the day. And these companies will, promise you the fucking world to work with them or do stuff with them. And it may seem like it's too good to be true sometimes or whatever. And I think it's so important to have good people with who you work with. And not even just your own employees, but that's a huge thing that Savanna and I have talked about recently about the companies that we choose to work with is that they need to be good people in the company because it aligns with Savanna's business model, ethical and results-driven aesthetics, but ethical is in there. And a lot of companies are not ethical. And I guess we touched a little bit on that a couple podcasts ago about some companies Savanna would not like to work with because they're not ethical. But I think that's a huge part about growing your business because you rely on these companies for support, especially in training your staff on product knowledge and treatment knowledge. And I think it's also been an important part for Savanna's expansion is who she has partnered with.
Yeah.
Like the services you provide, the product lines you carry. You have met a lot of great people in this industry from choosing the right brands to work with.
Mm-hmm. I really have.
So
I love that, Ty.
Final thought.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think too, just be financially smart at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Don't bite off more than you can chew, but also don't be scared to take a risk. So it's a fine balance between the two. And, just make sure that you have the bandwidth to employ and facilitate what you're trying to build.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but Savanna took 4 years before she bought a laser for her place.
4 years for a hydrofacial too.
Yeah, exactly. And
I see
you could have afforded it a lot sooner.
And I'm not saying it's the worst idea ever, but I've seen a lot of newer estheticians buy it the first month and take loans out, and I just feel like that's.
I think you just need to be sure that you have the clientele that's going to pay for that because I'm me, I'm a very safe person too. And I think
I am, and that's the funny thing about me is about my money, I'm very safe about that. I'm not gonna fucking bite something off that I can't.
Yeah.
Chew.
If I were in Savanna's shoes, I would it would be until I knew I could afford it. And also, like, I had clients that, had expressed interest. And, like, I knew that was something that.
Well, yeah, but my favorite thing and my saying is if you can't buy it 3 times without going into debt, you can't afford it.
Yeah. It's like the classic rent roll tool.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't spend more than 30% a month on rent.
Yeah. So chew on that, besties. Chew on that. But I'm about to go chew on some quesadillas or tortilla soup.
We love you guys. Hope you learned some stuff.
Yeah. I hope these were educational and fun. We love you.
Love you. Have a great Monday and the rest of your week. We'll
Bye.
see you next time.